Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope you're all settled in, maybe escaping the family for a few minutes or just looking for something interesting to think about besides how much pie you can still squeeze in.
Always room for pie and knowledge.
That's the spirit.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of intriguing things today, we're doing a deep dive into a unique take on Sonic the Hedgehog.
We're not talking about the games you already know, though.
Right.
This is a deep dive into a fan-created vision of Mobius reimagined as an open-world RPG.
We've got excerpts from their website.
Yeah.
Basically, a blueprint for this whole new Sonic experience.
Exactly.
Think of it like we're peeking into the mind of a super creative Sonic fan.
Our mission, to explore how this fan has built their version of Mobius, the characters, and the way everything fits together.
All right, so first things first. This whole world is built around something called chaos energies. 6 of them, to be exact.
Right, and these energies don't just exist, they're actually woven into a whole creation myth. It's like the fan took the idea of the Chaos Emeralds and said, what if these energies had shaped the very world?
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
So how did these energies, strength, mind, spirit, speed, vision, and time, actually affect Mobius? It's not just like they give everyone superpowers.
It's much more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Each of these 6 chaos energies crashed into different parts of Mobius, shaping the landscapes and influencing the cultures of the Mobians who live there.
Yeah.
It's like each region got its own unique cosmic fingerprint.
So we're not just talking about random levels or environments.
Right.
There's a reason why some Mobians are super fast or tech savvy or really in tune with nature.
Exactly.
It all goes back to these primordial chaos energies.
Exactly.
It's a pretty cool way to tie everything together.
But it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
There's a 7th chaos energy power that never actually hit Mobius.
Oh.
It just flew off into space.
Hold on, a missing chaos energy. That sounds like a recipe for trouble down the line.
Right.
Like what happens if someone finds it or if it comes back?
That's a question that hangs over this whole reimagined world.
Hmm.
It's like Chekhov's gun, but on a cosmic scale.
Okay.
Speaking of different areas, why don't we explore some of the specific regions on this version of Mobius?
Let's do it. I'm already picturing all sorts of wild landscapes and creatures.
Okay.
Where should we start?
Well, how about the electric wilds? Imagine a vast plateau constantly bombarded by storms and tornadoes.
Okay.
The Mobians who live here, the wild ones, are nomads always on the move.
That's pretty intense. So they're like the ultimate survivors adapted to this crazy, ever-changing environment.
Exactly. You mentioned the wild ones embodying adventure, and I think that's spot on.
Yeah.
But it's not just about thrill-seeking.
All right.
Their nomadic lifestyle is a necessity.
Okay.
They have to be constantly moving to avoid the worst of the storms and find resources.
Right.
And guess which chaos energy is strongest here?
Speed. Right.
Yeah.
It makes sense that a region dominated by constant movement and change would be connected to that energy. But how does that translate to their culture beyond just being fast?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
They can't build permanent settlements, so they have to be resourceful and adaptable.
Right.
They probably have strong traditions around weather prediction, navigation, and resource sharing.
That's fascinating. It's like their entire way of life is a dance with the forces of nature.
Yeah.
So what other crazy places has this fan dreamed up?
Let's move from the untamed wilds to the pinnacle of civilization, Wind City.
Okay.
Think bustling metropolis, but powered entirely by green technology.
So like steampunk, but eco-friendly. Sign me up.
Exactly. The Mobians here, the Zephyrs, are all about innovation and harnessing the power of wind.
Okay.
Think airships held aloft by carbines, vehicles that look like elaborate clockwork insects, all running on renewable energy.
That sounds incredible. It's like they took the cool factor of steampunk and combined it with a respect for the environment.
Yeah.
Definitely makes you wonder how our own cities could be reimagined.
Absolutely.
So are there any other societies on this Mobius?
Of course. We can't forget about the clans.
Okay.
They're a collection of diverse cultures living in settlements high up in the mountains connected to their ancestral traditions.
Sounds like they'd have some incredible stories and customs,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
chaos energy shapes them.
Strength is the dominant energy here.
Okay.
It manifests not just in physical power, but also resilience and a strong connection to their heritage.
Right.
They're likely the guardians of Mobius's history.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
They've probably had to endure harsh conditions and defend their homes for generations.
Right.
They sound like a group you wouldn't want to mess with.
Indeed.
Okay.
Now let's switch gears to a region with a more contemplative vibe.
Okay.
The pools of reflection are home to the aquatic disciples.
Okay. I'm picturing serene underwater cities Maybe some coral reefs and wise mystical creatures.
You're getting the vibe.
Okay.
These disciples are deeply connected to the chaos energy of vision. They
Okay.
spend their lives seeking knowledge and understanding the secrets of the universe.
So they're like the scholars and philosophers of Mobius.
Exactly. They study the past, present, and future, trying to unravel the mysteries of the chaos energies and their impact on the world.
I bet they're the key to understanding this whole seventh chaos energy situation.
Yeah.
But I'm also a little wary of any group that claims to see the future.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better not to know what's coming, right?
You're not wrong to be cautious.
Okay.
But let's move on to a region that definitely leans into the mysterious. The domain.
All right.
It's a dense, supposedly haunted jungle shrouded in secrets.
Ooh, haunted jungle. That sounds like my kind of place. What kind of Mobians live there?
This is where the specters dwell.
Okay.
They're masters of stealth and camouflage, deeply attuned to the energy of time.
Okay.
They can even shift into a realm called the other side, making them practically invisible.
Wait, they can shift into another dimension? That's next level stealth. I'm already thinking about the gameplay possibilities there.
Yeah.
Imagine sneaking past enemies or setting up ambushes from another dimension.
This fan has thought of a lot.
Okay.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, there are two more incredibly unique locations we need to cover. First, the ribbon.
Okay.
It's described as a Mobius strip, and it's what keeps Mobius outside the normal flow of time.
Hold up, a Mobius strip. That's like a mathematical concept, right? How does that even work in a video game world?
That's the beauty of it. It's a mind-bending concept, but it allows for some interesting mechanics.
Yeah.
Imagine puzzles and challenges that play with the idea of infinite loops or traveling in opposite directions, but ending up in the same place.
I'm already getting a headache just thinking about it, but in a good way. Okay, so we have a strip of reality that defies time.
Yes.
What was the last location?
The last one is actually the most important, the Forge.
Okay.
This is where Dr. Robotnik sets up shop, and it's implied that he's somehow harnessing that seventh chaos energy power.
Ah, so that missing chaos energy wasn't just a loose end.
Right.
It all ties back to the big bad himself. What's the Forge like?
It's a stark contrast to the more organic technology we see in places like Wind City.
Okay.
Robotnik's technology is advanced, but in a very industrial, almost old-fashioned way.
Right.
Think massive factories churning out robots, towering metal contraptions, and a whole army of mechanized minions.
So we've got this incredible world full of diverse regions shaped by these chaos energies.
Right.
We've got a missing chaos energy that has fallen into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
But what about our heroes? How do Sonic and his friends fit into all of this?
Well, you've got the classic crew, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Vector, and Espio.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is how this fan has reimagined their abilities and playstyles, connecting them to a new game mechanic called a Chaos Meter.
All right, here's where I think things are going to get really interesting. Tell me more about this Chaos Meter and how it changes the way you play.
The Chaos Meter adds a whole new layer of strategy to the combat.
Okay.
It's not just about attacking, it's about managing this energy resource to maximize your effectiveness.
Right.
Some abilities build up chaos energy while others deplete it.
So you're constantly making decisions about whether to go all out on offense or conserve energy for defense or support?
Yeah.
That sounds way more engaging than just button mashing.
Exactly. It forces you to think about your actions and adapt to the situation.
Right.
Take Sonic, for instance.
Yeah.
His signature speed is still there, but now it's tied to this chaos meter.
Right.
His rush ability lets him unleash a flurry of attacks zipping around the battlefield at incredible speeds,
Yeah.
building chaos with every hit.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I can just imagine the visual spectacle of Sonic bouncing between enemies, building up this chaotic energy.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there's a trade-off, right? You can't just stay in rush mode forever.
You're catching on quickly.
Mm.
Sonic also has an ability called slow-mo, which, as the name suggests, lets him slow down time, giving him a chance to plan his attacks, dodge enemy attacks, and set up combos. But using slow-mo actually drains his chaos reserves.
So it's a real risk-reward. Do you want to go all in on offense with Sonic building up that chaos energy? Or do you need to slow things down, play it safe, maybe set up a powerful team attack, even if it means spending some of that chaos?
Right.
That's a tough choice. I can already see hardcore Sonic fans debating the best strategies.
Absolutely. And it's not just Sonic. Each character's abilities are designed around this system, giving them unique ways to interact with the chaos meter.
Okay, so we've got Sonic as the speedster who can either build or spend chaos depending on his approach.
Right?
What about the rest of the team?
Yeah.
How do their playstyles fit into this system?
Well, Tails is still the tech whiz,
Okay.
but he's got some new tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah.
His cover fire ability lets him use his gadgets and inventions to lay down suppressing fire, building up chaos as he keeps enemies at bay.
So Tails can be a real asset in building up that chaos energy for the team.
Yes.
But what about if you need him to use some of his gadgets, like maybe a shield or a healing device? Would that drain chaos?
Yes. Exactly. His utility belt ability is all about deploying those gadgets, but it comes at the cost of depleting chaos.
Okay.
So do you want Tails to play a more supportive role, keeping enemies busy and building chaos, or do you need him to whip out some gadgets to turn the tide of battle?
So many tough choices. I'm starting to see how deep this chaos meter system really is.
Yeah.
It's not just a gimmick, it's integrated into every aspect of combat.
Right.
What about Knuckles? How does the powerhouse of the group handle this energy system?
Knuckles is all about brute force.
Okay.
But even he has to manage his chaos levels.
Right.
His pummel attack is exactly what it sounds like. A relentless barrage of punches, perfect for dealing massive damage, but it drains chaos quickly.
So Knuckles is your go-to guy for dishing out punishment, but you have to be careful not to burn through all his chaos too quickly.
Right.
I'm guessing he's got a way to build up chaos as well.
He does. His tunnel ability lets him dig into the ground, creating cover and building chaos as he absorbs incoming attacks.
That's actually a clever way to balance him out.
Hmm.
He can be this aggressive damage dealer, but he can also play a more defensive role, protecting his teammates and building up that precious chaos energy.
Right.
What about Vector and Espio? They're probably my least played characters in the regular games.
Okay.
So I'm really curious to see how this fan has reimagined them.
Vector's abilities are all about supporting the team and manipulating the battlefield.
Okay.
His trance mode lets him unleash a powerful rhythm-driven attack, building chaos as he pummels enemies with sound waves.
So rhythm-driven, so you have to time your button presses to the music or something. That sounds awesome.
You got it. This fan has definitely put some thought into making each character feel unique.
Yeah.
But Vector's not all about brute force.
Okay.
He also has this ability called Beat, which lets him use music to buff his allies or debuff enemies.
So he can either go on a sonic rampage, wrecking up chaos, or he can use that chaos to make his teammates even more effective. That's another tough choice.
Yeah.
It seems like every character has these interesting trade-offs with the chaos meter.
Yeah.
What about Espio? He's always been the stealthy one.
Espio's abilities are all about manipulating the environment and striking from the shadows.
Okay.
His geomancy ability lets him control the elements using vines to trip enemies, summoning tremors to disrupt the battlefield, even creating pockets of fog for cover.
Yeah.
And of course, this builds up chaos.
So he could really control the flow of battle, setting up the perfect scenario for his team.
Yes.
But I'm guessing his invoke ability, the one where he summons those spirits, drains chaos.
You're right on the mark. Espio is a high-risk, high-reward character.
Okay.
He can build up chaos by carefully manipulating the battlefield, but then he can expend that chaos to summon these powerful spirits, turning the tide of battle in a dramatic way.
All of this sounds incredibly dynamic and engaging.
Yeah.
I can imagine players spending hours experimenting with different team compositions and strategies, figuring out how to use the chaos meter to its fullest potential. But is that all there is to combat? Just individual abilities?
Not at all. There's a whole other layer of depth with combo attacks.
Okay.
These require specific sequences of actions from multiple characters, resulting in devastating attacks that can clear entire areas of enemies.
So you can't just rely on solo heroics.
Right.
You have to coordinate with your teammates, time your attacks perfectly, and manage your chaos levels to pull off these game-changing moves.
Exact.
That's amazing. It really encourages teamwork and strategic thinking.
It does.
But wouldn't these combo attacks be super overpowered?
That's where the chaos meter comes back into play.
Oh.
Combo attacks require a significant amount of chaos energy to execute, making them a valuable but limited resource.
So you can't just spam them.
Right.
You have to earn them by carefully managing your chaos levels throughout the battle.
Yeah.
This whole combat system is genius. It sounds so well thought out.
And we haven't even touched on the healing mechanic yet.
Wait, there's more. Tell me everything.
Instead of relying on potions or items, healing in this RPG is directly tied to your chaos level.
Okay.
Characters regenerate health over time, but the rate of regeneration is determined by how much chaos they have stored.
So if you've been spending all your chaos on attacks and special abilities, you're going to be more vulnerable when it comes to healing.
Right.
That's another layer of strategy to consider.
Yeah.
Do you go all in on offense, risking a quick knockout if you get hit? Or do you hold back a little to ensure you can recover quickly if things get rough?
Exactly. And there's even more to it.
Okay.
If a character gets knocked out, they'll eventually revive, but each knockout increases the revive timer, making it more and more risky to get caught off guard.
Wow, high stakes. This combat system really has it all.
It does.
I'm genuinely impressed by how much thought this fan has put into translating the creed and energy of Sonic into a deep and rewarding RPG experience.
They certainly have.
Yeah.
Combat is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
We also need to talk about the story, the progression, and how you explore this vast reimagined world of Mobius.
Okay, so let's move beyond punching robots and talking tactics.
Yeah.
What kind of adventure has this fan craft for our heroes? Is it a classic Stop Robotnik story or something more complex?
The story is divided into 3 acts, each with its own distinct structure and focus.
Okay.
Act 1, the invasion, kicks things off with a bang.
Okay.
Alien robots start appearing all over Mobius, wreaking havoc and capturing Mobians.
Okay, classic call to action.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Robotnik is behind it, using that stolen 7th Chaos energy to power these alien robots.
It's definitely implied.
Okay.
But what's interesting is that Act 1 is primarily a linear narrative experience.
Okay.
You're assembling your team, repelling the initial invasion, and getting a feel for the world.
So it starts off focused, but I bet things open up after that, right?
Yeah.
Give me that open world goodness.
You read my mind.
Ah.
Act 2, the Autofax, is all about exploration side quests and uncovering the secrets of Mobius. Your main goal is to track down and destroy these robot factories that are pumping out the invaders.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Exploring this incredible world, helping out the locals, maybe collecting some sweet loot along the way.
Right.
Classic open world fun.
Exactly. It's your chance to really dig into the different regions we talked about earlier, experience their unique cultures, and tackle a variety of challenges.
Yeah.
And then Act 3, the 7 Chaos, brings everything to a head.
Okay,
Things get a bit more linear again as the race for the Chaos Emeralds begins.
of course. It wouldn't be a Sonic story without a little Chaos Emerald action.
All right.
So we're talking a final showdown with Robotnik Metal Sonic and probably some epic boss battles.
You know it. But even after you save the world, the journey's not over.
Oh,
There's a whole endgame section focused on restoring Mobius's chaos energy after the conflict.
okay.
Think environmental restoration, rebuilding communities, maybe even uncovering some lingering mysteries.
I love that. It's not just about defeating the big bad. It's about healing the world and creating a better future. Right. It definitely fits the spirit of Sonic.
Yeah.
But we've talked about fighting and story. What about getting around this world?
Yeah.
How does the fan envision travel and exploration?
That's where things get really creative.
Okay.
Traveling between the different regions of Mobius isn't just a matter of running across a map.
Right.
It's actually done through special platforming or racing zones that reflect the unique characteristics of each area.
So it's not just about getting from point A to point B.
Right.
You're actually engaging with the environment
Mm-hmm.
and using your skills to navigate these unique challenges.
Exactly.
This sounds way more fun than just fast traveling.
Exactly. For example, to reach the Electric Wilds, you have to navigate a thrilling high-speed race course through a storm-ravaged landscape, dodging lightning strikes and navigating treacherous winds.
I can already picture it's like those special stages in the classic Sonic games, but integrated into the world itself.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What about the other regions? What kind of travel challenges do they offer?
To reach Wind City, you need to master a series of intricate platforming challenges using the Zephyr's wind-powered technology.
Oh.
Imagine leaping across spinning gears, riding gusts of wind through aerial obstacle courses, and maybe even piloting a miniature airship through a treacherous canyon.
Okay, that sounds incredible. I'm already picturing the amazing visuals and the satisfying feeling of pulling off those tricky maneuvers.
Yeah.
It's like they combine the best elements of Sonic's speed and agility with a touch of puzzle solving.
Right.
What about the other regions?
For the clans, the journey is more about exploration and endurance.
Okay.
You'd need to navigate treacherous mountain paths, solve environmental puzzles based on their ancient traditions, and maybe even engage in some rock climbing or ice scaling.
It sounds like each region's travel challenge is tailored to its unique culture and environment.
Right.
It's not just about testing your platforming skills. It's about immersing yourself in that region's atmosphere and learning about its inhabitants.
Exactly.
I'm really liking how this fan has thought about every detail.
And there's more. To reach the pools of reflection, you'd embark on a rhythm-based underwater exploration challenge.
Okay.
Picture navigating through coral reefs, using sonar pulses to reveal hidden paths, and maybe even communicating with aquatic creatures using musical patterns.
Whoa, hold on. Rhythm-based underwater exploration.
Yeah.
That's a whole new level of creativity. I'm imagining something like those musical levels in Rayman Legends, but underwater and with a sonic twist.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And then to reach the mysterious domain, you'd have to complete a stealthy obstacle course that really puts your agility and camouflage skills to the test.
Okay.
Think navigating through dense foliage, using the Spectre's other side ability to phase through barriers and avoiding detection by patrolling robots or even supernatural creatures.
This is also creative. I can't believe how much thought this fan has put into every single aspect of this game.
Yeah.
It's not just a world map, it's a collection of interconnected experiences, each with its own unique flavor and challenges.
And don't forget about the rewards. If you successfully complete these travel challenges, you're not just granted access to a new region, you're also rewarded with unique items that boost the stats of your chosen character.
So there's replay value built right into the exploration mechanics.
Right.
You're encouraged to revisit these areas, try out different characters, and experiment with different strategies to earn all the rewards.
Exactly.
I love that. It keeps things fresh and gives you a reason to keep coming back for more.
Speaking of coming back for more, what about side quests?
Yeah, a good open-world game needs plenty of side content to keep players engaged.
Right.
What did this fan have in mind?
Well, that's where things get a little fuzzy.
Okay.
The creator admitted they haven't fully fleshed out the side quests yet.
Okay.
They said they wanted to leave some room for the developers at Sonic Team,
Yeah.
if they ever actually made this game to really bring the world to life visually and audibly.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
It's one thing to come up with the core mechanics and the overall vision, but it's a whole other challenge to actually populate the world with interesting characters, side stories, and those little details that make a world feel truly alive.
Exactly. But even without all those specifics, I think it's safe to say that this fan has created something truly special.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the enduring power of fan creativity and the deep connection people have with these beloved franchises.
Right.
It's not just a game concept, it's a love letter to the Sonic universe.
Absolutely. I have to admit, when we first decided to do a Sonic-themed deep dive for Thanksgiving, I was a little skeptical. But this has been an incredible journey.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see how a dedicated fan can take a familiar world and breathe new life into it, expanding the lore, deepening the characters, and creating a whole new way to experience it.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if other fans were given the opportunity to reimagine their favorite franchises? What kind of hidden gems are out there just waiting to be discovered?
Right. And maybe someone listening right now has an idea burning inside them, a unique take on their favorite franchise, just waiting to be shared with the world. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to inspire the next great gaming experience.
Speaking of inspiration, maybe you can share some of the insights we've uncovered today with your family and friends as you gather around the table for Thanksgiving dinner.
Exactly. It's not every day you get to explore a fan-made world as detailed and creative as this one.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
it'll even spark some interesting conversations or inspire some new ideas for your own creative projects.
So, as you enjoy that delicious food and share stories with your loved ones this Thanksgiving, remember the power of imagination and the potential that lies within each of us to create something truly special.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of Sonic.
Okay.
We hope you've enjoyed the journey as much as we have.
Absolutely.
We'll be back next week with another deep dive into a topic that's sure to surprise and delight you.
Sounds good.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those imaginations running wild.